but if it's possible, maybe we'll let to burn a couple of minutes. Is it possible just to go through the, I know we had a great COVID update, and then even maybe touch on, Stefan's here, maybe touch on some of the flu clinics to start? Do you mind?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. So in my email, I was able to provide an update. We have received some cases since my update. So right now we have 2,297 total cases in Walpole. Of those, we're monitoring 33 currently. And I did mention in my last email that the positivity rate did go down, which is a good thing. We were at 2.73 as of last week. So hopefully this will trend in the right direction. We get weekly updates on Wednesdays, so I will have more information following tomorrow evening's update. Right now, as of Friday's update, we have 75% of Walpole residents that have received one vaccine and 69% who are fully vaccinated. So again, we are trending upwards with vaccination rates, which is great. As for flu clinics, we do have 3 flu clinics coming up. One as early as this Thursday, which is for our town employees. It's from 2 to 5 p.m. Similar to what we did last year, we work with Walgreens. They're able to provide us with pharmacists as well as a vaccine. They come, we do have some of our volunteers helping out with the administration, traffic control, and that aspect of the clinic. But as for the vaccination, it's done by Rite Aid. As for the other 2 clinics, so we have our main clinic, which last year, if you remember, it was a drive-through clinic. We decided collaboratively as a group that although that worked great for us, weather was definitely on our side. And obviously with COVID, heightened then, that was kind of the direction we were brought to by the state to do an outdoor clinic. Now that we have it under our belt, we definitely will use it should we need to, but we figured we have a well-oiled machine at the COA from our COVID clinics. So we are deciding to go that route, having the clinic indoor on Sunday, October 3rd from 10 to 2. That will be for all Walpole residents. And then similar to what we've done in years past, we like to offer an additional clinic for those of the senior population. So Carrie over at the COA director has been great in allowing us to use her space. So again, we have such a great system at the COA. So we figured why not keep it going? And obviously the senior population are familiar with that location. So that one will be on Monday, October 18th. And that will also be from 10 to 2 p.m. So information will be coming out for all of those clinics. If anyone is listening tonight, it will be similar to our COVID clinics where they will have an online registration opportunity. It will be a different platform and obviously new to us. So we will be able to assist if anyone has any questions, and the COA will also assist as needed. But people would be able to register online, put their health insurance information in, and then they would be given an appointment time slot and they'd be able to attend during their time. So hopefully it will be a pretty well-run clinic. And like I mentioned in my email, we're very fortunate. We have a really good group of MRC volunteers, and we've recently collaborated with the CERT team as well. So we're super fortunate. We have, people calling us, asking us how they can help. So slots are being filled up. There might be a few more though. So if people are interested, definitely call the health department and we can provide you the sign up Genius information. So that would be, I would say, the updates on the clinics.
That is great. Thank you very much. Any questions from anybody?
I had a question about the positive cases we're monitoring right now for the COVID. Any kids under 12, Melissa, as far as you know? Or Trish?
Sorry, Trish, I'm going to default to you because I know you have the active list of monitoring cases. And if you don't have the information right now, that's not a problem. We can get it to Mona.
No, I have it here. Mona, right now, I'm just looking up. I did a total as of August 1st when I started kind of monitoring how many of these positive cases were vaccinated or not. But of our current cases, I can tell you right now, we have active. We have about 6 that are under 12.
Okay. And those kids, they're being sent home and they're quarantining for like 14 days and watching symptoms. Okay. I'm just like, my concern is like the spread out between, because, all the schools are, back. in person. So the concern is not to get everybody else, you know.
So they're also, Mona, the schools are also doing the same day testing. So it's an option for those close contacts. So they're actually able to stay in school and they're tested for 7 consecutive days to show if they become positive. Obviously they have to be asymptomatic, but they are allowed to remain in school, those close contacts. So that's different from last school season. And the hope is to obviously keep all of the kids in person as long as possible. Obviously, if they're a positive case, they would be removed and quarantined.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you guys very much. Any other questions on those? If not, looks like our first appointment on our agenda is the approval of minutes from August 10th. And we do have a quorum to be able to vote on the minutes. Was there any comments or changes, additions?
I didn't find anything.
Right. If there's no edits, we'll entertain a motion.
Okay. I'll make a motion in regards to the minutes from the August 10, 2021 meeting. The Board of Health approves the minutes as is.
Great. Your second? Stefan second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any other discussion or comments? Then we will vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I also. 3-0-0. Next on our list is hearing request for 653 Washington Street.
Yes, so the Fastenals unfortunately could not make the hearing today, but just to give you a little bit of a background, we got a call from the occupants beginning mid-August that their floor in the kitchen had been removed in July 2020 due to a
Recording
leak,
in
and it still
progress.
had not been replaced. So they called me out to do an inspection. I conducted an inspection, sent an order letter. There are a few other items included in the order letter besides repairing and replacing the kitchen floor. The stove in the kitchen wasn't working. Some of the windows were missing screens. The bathtub wasn't draining properly. And one of the stoppers was in disrepair. And then one of the baseboards was in disrepair, and then there were no smoke detectors or carbon monoxide alarms. So the owners contacted me with the concern that they're currently going through the eviction process of the occupants, and they did not want to make these repairs until the occupants had left, because they are concerned more damage will be done to the items that they repair. They did go in and put in smoke and CO alarms, because I did say that is a critical violation that should be corrected immediately. They did do that within 24 hours of receiving the order letter, and I did go out and re-inspect that. I did also cite the occupants at the time of my inspection for not properly maintaining the dwelling. It was definitely a lot of wear coming from the occupants and some cleanliness factors. I actually, we ended up last week getting DEP involved due to the kitchen floor being removed, because there are concerns with asbestos and DEP. So any construction that's done, if it's not owner occupied, where like floor tiles are removed, they need to hire somebody to come out and inspect it and make sure that everything is removed properly. As far as we know, that was not done. So that DEP will follow up on that. I went out today with one of the DEP inspectors and they took samples from the kitchen floor and they will have it tested for asbestos. We hope to have those results in the next 24 to 48 hours. I did speak to the owners today to remind them of the board meeting, which they said they could not attend. I said they will probably be hearing from DEP. They say that the tiles shouldn't have any asbestos, but I'll be leaving that to DEP to resolve, and I wait the results. DEP did say there is a high chance, it looks like it was linoleum tiles. so there is a high chance that there was asbestos, but because it's been so long since the floor has been taken up, it's been over a year, that the chances of there still being particles in the air is low. But so they will follow up with the owner on that. So that's sort of the summary. The Pat and Janet Fasanello are requesting more time than what I allowed them. So they already corrected the smoke and CO, that was within 24 hours. But the other items had given them 2 weeks, which would have been up by now, but they requested the hearing within the right amount of time. So they get to state their case in front of the board to ask for that additional time. They're hoping to wait to make the repairs until the occupants have been moved out. They don't have a current court date. The occupant that they had a lease with, Mr. Gibson, he is no longer residing there, but his daughter and ex-wife are. So from our end, we still view them as occupants, but they had to begin the eviction process over, I believe, and they sent them a notice to quit on the 1st of September. And they're working with their lawyers to go through the rest of the process.
How old is the property, Rika?
Oh, let me look that up. Give me one moment. The property was built in 1960.
1960. So is there a reason why the landlord is refusing to make repairs? Is he having issues with the tenants at all?
Yeah, so his concern is based on how he feels like they have handled the apartment so far and the condition that they have left it in. They're concerned that by doing any repairs prior to the current occupants moving out, they'll just have to do the repairs again, is what their concern is. So they're saying it's not that they don't want to do the repairs, they're asking to wait until the occupants are out.
Yeah, we have no idea what that time frame is at this point.
Correct.
Right. So he believes the tenants are causing the damages.
Yes,
Okay.
that is what he believes.
Okay. But there's no proof,
I think
right?
it's tough. So as the board, I mean, it's completely the board's decision, but like Rita said, we have to be mindful because either way, these repairs need to be made. So whether it's with the current occupants or with the future occupants, these repairs need to be made. And Rich, you brought up a great point where this could get dragged out and potentially these occupants could be in place for quite some time. And it's great that they have the emergency items corrected, but they still have to correct the remainder. So even if maybe potentially if the board sets a 30-day extension and then they have to provide some sort of summary as to what actions taking place if you go that route, and it's completely up to the board.
We could request an outline of their timing in order to justify. I mean, if we give them a 30-day, they're going to come back potentially with, in 25 days and say they still don't have enough. So it'd be nice to have some kind of schedule. Did they provide us with justification?
No, so I asked the same thing. I said, do you have a court date that I can give the board? Unfortunately, they can't get a court date until they go through the process. So they sent a notice to quit on the 1st, then they're going to send a summons on the 15th. And if they're not out with a certain time period after that, then they'll be able to go to court. So it is a lengthier process.
Sure.
They said they have contacted different housing authorities to try and help these two occupants find housing. I don't know if that's the case. I did provide them with Walpole Housing's contact information. I'm not sure if they have reached out. I would say also though, the apartment definitely needs a lot of work. A comprehensive inspection was not conducted, partially due to the condition of the apartment. And so I would like to, depending on their timeline, before any new occupants move in, I think a comprehensive inspection should be done at the apartment.
Sense. So what would be a reasonable time frame that we would give them if they're not going to make their initial 2 week? Would we give them another 2 weeks and require that those critical improvements are done in that period of time, regardless of their court status? I mean, it seems like we're our approach would be to make sure the occupants, legal or otherwise, are safe.
And I think part of the what the board's decision could be is also include that there's the DEP factor, right? So DEP may require that more is done regarding the kitchen floor sooner. And that could become a critical concern if there is asbestos. And then if they do find asbestos particles in the air, because they will do air testing then if they do get a positive test from the samples they took today from some of the tile that they got along the corner, the linoleum, and they took up some of the mastic, so the sticky stuff of the tile. So that might adjust the time frame. And then I would say, I'm trying to think, like in 2 weeks at our next Board of Health meeting, I might be able to give another update, and they might have more of a timeline of a potential court date. So you could make the decision to allow 2 weeks, and then within 2 weeks, you need to have kind of a timeline of when they think they can get the repairs done, and then the board can decide if they feel like that's a reasonable time frame.
Plus the DEP would have come back with the results, whether there is asbestos or not.
Yes, yep. DEP, they said they're hopeful to have the results tomorrow, but worst case, Thursday.
Mhm.
Those results could prompt some immediate
Action regarding the kitchen floor specifically, yep.
all right. Well, that's
So the question is, the apartment livable right now? I mean, the tenants, obviously they're still living there, but I mean, is it in a livable condition? I mean,
So according to the housing code at the moment, there are technically no violations that are considered deemed to endanger immediately, right? Everything, if it's an overextended period of time, could be, but they have the smoke and CO, they have hot water, the locks work, they, right now, no heat is needed, but they haven't complained about not having heat in the winter. So a lot of those critical elements are provided. But again, like I said, the DEP part and asbestos, that could become more of an urgent matter.
okay. And that's what's going to determine whether they need to be removed until they make all the repairs, right?
So I'm not necessarily sure if the occupants will have to be removed. I think it depends on the severity of it. It's also been so long since the floor has been removed that they might not find any asbestos in the air. And DEP did say the good thing is the condition of the mastic, so the material that sticks the aluminum down, tends not to have a lot of asbestos, usually commonly, but also the condition it's in right now is in good condition where any asbestos particles really shouldn't be friable or become airborne. So that is a good thing.
Rika, did you say that the floor is just like, what does it look like currently right now?
Hold on, let me see if I can share my screen, and I have a picture. Give me one moment. So can you see that picture?
Yep.
So that's the kitchen floor at the moment.
Okay.
Did you see any tiles that were broken on the floor? Was it?
No, so along the edges here, there were like the edges of some of the tile, the linoleum that the inspector did take some pieces of today. But it's really, all the tile has been completely removed.
And were they individual tiles or solid linoleum?
That I don't know. When I spoke with the owner today, they said it was the peel and stick type of tile. The inspector did not necessarily think, based on the sample he took, that was the case from what he saw. But the occupants did not say what kind it was, just that it was removed in July 2020.
And then one more quick question on the floor. Was there only mastic, or did you ever see like any paper backing that would have been part of like the adhesive or anything like that? It looks like a paper.
more of the mastic.
Okay. And what about children? Any children in the house?
Nope.
Okay. I mean, I, I used to be an asbestos inspector when I was in consulting, and I mean the mastic, yeah, it's really not, it's not great. The tiles are really, they're lower risk when you talk about asbestos. You know, it's not as friable, but depending on the age, it could be friable. I think my only concern would be that if there's any residual tiles or anything like that, you know, there are walking around. This is a kitchen where they're eating. That is one way that you can actually be exposed, is also eating the fibers as well, which leads to like mesothelioma and stuff like that. So,
Right.
you know, I just, it's a little concerning seeing this floor. I would not be comfortable living in a situation like that.
So, I mean, this can also be like, the board could also make the decision that you would like to see all the proper permits and follow up with DEP done in a much shorter time frame, and that the floor needs to be done before the occupants move out, right? I mean, the board can make that decision that you don't necessarily give an extension on this part of the order letter.
Yeah, I think one thing is just making sure it's safe for any occupant. So whether that's remediating any residual asbestos, I don't know how you could phrase it, but just making sure it's safe for future occupants in some fashion. You know, there could be ways that they clean the floor, or they HEPA vacuum, remove any type of the residual tiling, stuff like that. But
And Stefan, I think like Rika said, I think even making it in your motion that the owner must follow DEP regulations and guidance based off of their findings, that they should have as early as tomorrow, like Rika said.
yeah, I think that would be good for sure.
And in a timeline administered by DEP, because I'm assuming there's something that has to be done in a certain time frame, like you referenced.
Yeah, I just would hate to see, I mean, if it is asbestos, I would hope that they, you know, demand that there's action quick on it. I would hate for us to set like a 2-week time limit and then nothing happens and we let 2 weeks go by, or however long.
Well, the DEP portion of it, we can make a motion that requires the actions from the DEP and their recommendations to be implemented immediately. And then we can say the correcting actions, the residual action, the other actions or issues that were identified need to have a schedule and a plan within 2 weeks to have those accomplished, regardless who's living in there. I mean, I think if we wait for the courts to go through the paperwork in this situation with COVID, everything's dragging. So we're talking a long period of time, and that's not really putting anybody in the right position. So I think that's, if anybody has a motion, does anybody have a motion they want to make, or because I can ramble on and make one if you want to entertain one.
That was a good motion, what you just said, Rich.
Yeah, ditto what you just said. How's that?
Then let's take that as the motion. I'll formally make the motion that the Board of Health will requires the owner to immediately rectify any of the risks associated with the DEP inspection for asbestos, and require a schedule of the remaining work to be presented in 2 weeks to the board for the completion of the remaining actions to bring it back up to what's an expected level for a landlord.
Should we require a comprehensive inspection to be performed?
Definitely, I would think once we get it, yeah, how would we put that in as a requirement for the next leasing?
And prior to new occupants moving in.
Yeah, so we'll add that, as Mona mentioned, we'll add the requirement to have a full comprehensive inspection prior to the next occupant.
That.
Awesome. We have a second on that?
I'll second that.
Stefan seconds and seconds again. All right, I missed you. All right, so the board motion is made and seconded. We'll take a vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan.
Aye.
And I say aye also, 300. 300. Yeah, that's right. Great, thank you guys. Thanks for all the background on it. Is this something we've seen before in the board? I mean, I don't remember seeing something like this in the past.
So I can't say since I've been here that we've really dealt with a housing case or housing appeal to this nature that I can remember of. I mean, we deal with housing cases a lot within the department, but not, an appeal process.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you all. All right. The next on our agenda are the Zoning Board of Appeals requests for comment. First one is 40 Coolidge.
Yeah, so 40 Coolidge, Walpole has zoning requirements that technically you're only allowed to have 3 vehicles per household. And so 40 Coolidge, building department and the health department, we actually, I want to look at the date, received complaints beginning of July regarding this property. A lot of vehicles stored in addition to a lot of other items, which is why the health department got involved. And so the owners of 40 Coolidge are requesting a special permit to allow more than 3 vehicles. They're looking to have 10 or more automobiles. I did do a drive-by again this evening prior to the board meeting, and it appears that there's at least 8 cars currently, or car frames, not necessarily full vehicles, on the property. I believe that there are more in the back of the property. And the property is located on town water and sewer. So they're just looking to the Board of Appeals to allow for more vehicles.
And these vehicles, I believe, I know the area. I believe these are also on the street.
Yes, some of them are, and then some are in the driveway, and then some are in the back of the property. And as I said, some of them aren't necessarily in working condition, and some are just frames. I know that he likes to keep the cars, use a lot of them for parts, work on them. I know that this property is currently on our radar, and we're trying to work with them to remediate some other items. And part of it is the cars and the accumulation of other construction debris and items in the back, just because it can be a harborage issue for pests.
Agree.
So you said you've had complaints since July, but from the neighbors?
Yep, from the neighbors regarding this property and the condition it is in.
Okay. So he's requesting, the owner is requesting parking permit for 10 cars. Do they have like the space
10 or
for that?
more. I mean, it's tough. Do they have space in their driveway? No, but that's not where all the vehicles are at the moment.
Okay, so why would he need a permit then if he's parking the cars on the street?
So you're only allowed to have 3. That's a zoning bylaw in Walpole. You can only have 3 cars per household. And so he has more than that. So he's requesting a special permit to allow him to have 10 or more. So some are parked on the street, some are in his driveway, some are on his lawn and in the backyard.
Okay, but my question is, if it's a zoning bylaw, what does it have to do with what's the health concerns?
So these special permits come before the health department. I would say with us at this time, probably the only concern is those cars that aren't really in working condition, that are just the frames of the vehicles, that they can become a harborage, right? They can hold water, so you have mosquito concerns. There's a lot of grass growing around them, right? So do they become a harborage for other pests, such as rodents who might make their homes in them? So that's really correct. For the Board of Health purposes, those would be the only concern, is like, what is the condition of those vehicles, and could they become a harborage for pests?
Okay, thank you.
What about any like oil, gas, other contamination of the property?
Yep, that also.
Has there been any issues with contamination in the past?
Not that I'm aware of, or that has been brought to our attention.
Interesting.
Anybody want to make a stance, or I guess we make a motion, right? We would just make a motion we present comments to the board. Does anybody have any comments that they want to present to the Board of Appeals? In the form of a motion?
I mean, I think that if the zoning bylaw only requires like, only permits 3 cars to be parked, we shouldn't go against that. Especially because of the reasons that Rika mentioned too, like there would be some health concerns, plus the neighbors are already complaining because of the condition of the vehicles that being parked.
Great. To turn that into a motion, I'll make a motion that the Board of Health comments regarding the special permit application for 10 automobiles on the property. The Board of Health does not support this special permit due to the health concerns associated with harboring of insects and rodent potential, as well as the potential for release of hazardous materials from the automobiles to the environment.
I'll second that.
Motion been made and seconded. Any other comments? And then we'll put it to a vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
I also 300 for that one. And then East 324 East Street.
So this is also from the Board of Appeals. They're looking to get a special permit to allow for the demolition of an existing 2-family dwelling and then reconstructing a new 2-family that's slightly larger. As you can see on the plan, part of the building and the existing garage is within the 100-foot buffer zone of the wetlands. We did see this last time at the June 1st meeting from the Conservation Commission as a request for determination. So that was where they were just looking to see where the wetlands are. So you can see the wetlands at the south side of the property. And then the 100-foot buffer just gets that south corner of the lot and the existing garage.
In the last, we saw this, you said once before, right?
Yep, on June 1st from Conservation
Gotcha.
Commission.
Okay.
Yep, as a request for determination.
So we said the board had no specific concerns at that time.
Correct, because they were just outlining where the wetlands are.
Gotcha.
Right.
So now that
Yeah.
they've delineated our concerns of building in the wetland is still, that's the concern we have at this point.
Correct.
Okay. I
I'll
want to make a motion.
make a motion in regards to this special permit 324 East Street. The Board of Health have a long stand of not supporting any new construction within the 100-foot buffer zone. But if the plan is approved, we recommend to apply the standard practice for mosquito controls, ABCD, like contact the Norfolk County and cleaning the gutters, regular cleaning of the gutters.
Good. I will second the motion. Any other comment? Then we will vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan. I also 300. That. Next one is the 1062 North Street.
Yes, so they're looking to add a in-law suite, but within the existing footprint of the single-family dwelling. So it's currently a 4-bedroom, and they're going to be changing the floor plan a little bit, but not changing the number of bedrooms. So it is on town water, but it does have an on-site septic, which would be our concern. The system was upgraded in 2019 to accommodate 4 bedrooms, and based on their plans, they're planning to keep it 4 bedrooms. They'll just convert one of those bedrooms into part of the in-law suite.
Okay, good. And no wetland issues there. It's just the on-site septic.
Correct.
Any questions or comments from anybody on this? Anybody want to make a motion?
I can make a motion. In regards to special permit 1062 North Street, the board has no concerns.
Can we add that just in case the floor plan changes to accommodate that the septic plan would be upgraded, the septic system? Just in case they change the plan.
Okay.
Agreed.
And we'll also, if we can add just the reminder to delineate the on-site septic system during any of the construction, those typical things we normally say.
I'll second that.
Is that standard language we should include moving forward, just regarding upgrades of septic? I think have we done it on all of our?
I think we've done it in the past. I had just forgotten to mention it. Thank you, Rich, for bringing it up.
All right, motion been made, and did we second some? Demona, did you
Segment.
Perfect. Made and seconded, and we'll vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
I also 300. And so that is the North Street. So now we're in the planning board for Brown Holdings special, site plan approval, special permit for South Street.
Yes, and I don't know if this plan made it into the email, so I'm gonna just share it so you can see it. But so currently you have Ian Brown Landscaping here, and they are just looking to add a second building, just to expand his business. So I reached out to the engineer regarding this, and they don't plan on storing any hazardous materials. It's just more space to store equipment, do any repairs, minor repairs on equipment that's needed. But they don't store any pesticides or other hazardous materials in bulk there. They order as needed and use it immediately on whichever sites they have landscaping projects. Parking will be reconfigured a little bit, but the plan is just to add the second building. You can see there are wetlands at the edge of the property, and you have the buffer zone here, the 100-foot buffer. But that only really goes into the corner. It's not, none of the buildings are within that 100-foot buffer.
So the right hand side of this is where the town forest is, right? The parking lot. Believe,
That
right?
I actually don't know. You probably are more familiar with that than I
I think.
am.
So the question about is there, I'm sorry if I cut someone off. Is there another entrance, or is this is there going to be a new entrance to this building, or is it still remain the same one right across from Oak Street?
As far as I know, it's going to remain the same entrance.
Yeah, it's only, it looked like there was the pavement there, and if they're putting it's kind of a dangerous corner there to think about another entrance and exit out of that building with equipment and trailers. So okay. Cool.
Are we granting the permit, or we just
It's just comments. It's the planning board is requesting comments.
planning board, right? Okay. All right, so I'll make a motion in regards to the site plan approval. Special permit 272-274 South Street. The Board of Health has no specific concerns at this time.
I will second. Motion's been made and seconded. Any other comments, discussions? And we'll vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
and I also. That's 300. And I think that brings us to the end of our show today. Is there anything else we had? Any new business other than what we talked about, the flu clinics? Anything we need to touch on?
No, other than the flu clinics, that's all I had for under new business.
All right. And our next meeting, we are scheduled
The 21st of September.
Outstanding. All right. Then I will make a motion to adjourn. And we will vote. Mona,
Aye.
Stefan,
Aye.
That's an aye. An aye also. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Melissa, enjoy your time in country wonderland.
Thank you. I'll be returning tomorrow, but I
No
will.
trouble.
Thank you.
Stay, everybody. Thanks so much.
Take care. Have a good night. Bye.